It feels so good to be back playing some WoW after birthing my own child by myself one-handed in my own home in like 10 seconds. I can't wait to get started.
Oh, hey Evitel, glad you could make it. Just one thing, since last time you were here, there's been some changes. We're gonna need you to sign this social contract before you proceed.
Oh, okay. What does it say?
Just the usual stuff, don't be toxic, that sort of thing. You don't really need to read it, to be honest.
Let's see. No hate speech. Makes sense. No harassment, no advertising or spamming. This all seems straightforward and sensible. I like it.
Exactly, yes. If you just sign it, we can get on with playing. No point wasting any more time reading anymore, really.
Oh, wait, what's this? All loot must be given to Taliesin on demand.
What, really? Oh, that's a weird one. Still.
Taliesin must be given massages whenever he thinks his shoulders might be a little tight because he gets really tight shoulders from working at a desk all day. That hasn't even got anything to do with the game.
I think the best thing to do for now is to just sign it and then worry about the details later, honestly.
Any insults or jokes or general meanness about Taliesin will result in an instant and permanent ban?
I think that one's quite fair, actually.
Tali, are you sure this is the official WoW social contract? It seems a little sus.
True, but Evitel, have you seen item number 326B? Remember, all loot is hunter loot.
Yeah, I'm signing it. Let's go.
Knowledge is power.
Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset, Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdom Show. In a week where, okay, here's the thing, there is news, okay, like some really good and interesting news, and also we're going to spend some time this episode looking at what Blizzard are so desperately trying to hide from players on the PTR with regards to patch 9.25, because, frankly, they are desperately trying to hide something, and it's a good episode, honestly. Evie's got a whole section, it's great, but I get that we're in a bit of a lull when it comes to WoW at the moment, treading water a little bit until 9.25, and there's nothing especially wrong, or, okay, there's nothing especially unusual about that, because we've all been doing this dance for like 18 years now, but at the same time, I worry that, it might not be exciting enough for you, which is why we made the very unusual decision to record this whole episode in front of a green screen, so we can spice things up a bit every now and then, like this! Whoa! Oh, it's a shark! It's a shark! I really hope I can find some footage of a shark to use later. Oh, I just see action right here. And of course, we start today with the reason I know you're all really here, the race to world first. Heroic. For guilds with names a bit like Immortalis, the epic struggle for supremacy between guilds that share a similar name to ours. You remember from last week that despite a knife-edge competition this time out, brave, clever but not in an intimidating way, soft-skinned, young of heart, wise of mind, people's champions, Immortalis Argent Dawn EU, yay! Totally lost first place in the race to Norska Immortalis. Congratulations, Norska Immortalis. Leaving just the podium places up for grabs for the remaining guilds. So we went into our latest progress night, our fourth jailer progress night in a row, in good spirits and high hopes, and proceeded to get kicked around for 3 hours, basically making very little progress, and we suck. We basically are just shit at this entire game. And while we endured that humiliation, Presidio Immortalis snatched second place, which basically means we are scrapping it out with Est Immortalis for third now, unless Immortalis, who are making quiet, steady progress behind the pack, up their game and take it from us both. If I had to put money on the final medal position, I'd have to say, definitely not us. We are really terrible at this boss, and I have no idea why. But rest assured, we will be keeping you up to date with all the latest action in this battle for the ages, whether you like it or not. And you won't. Now, I am really excited to talk to you about Blizzard's secret 925 stuff, but first, here's Evitel with a roundup of the week's other headlines.
Hey everyone, it's been a while. Oh, hang on. Whoa. Tali said that's what we do around here now, so here's the news roundup. On the 9.2.5 PTR, there are now portals in Oribos to help get you to all the new Mythic Plus dungeon locations in Season 4, whisking you away instantly to Gorgrond, Karazhan, and Mechagon. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the convenience isn't even the best thing about this, because the best thing about these portals is that finally, that last, lonely, unused, obvious space designed to have a portal in it, possibly for the zone in the patch that definitely didn't didn't get cut because Blizz always definitely planned there to be only 2 major patches, definitely, will be utilized. I know I'm not the only one incredibly bothered by the empty, unused portal space, and now, at last, all portal spaces on the Oribos portal floor are being used for their correct and proper purpose. At least, that's what you're thinking. And I hate to be the bearer of infuriating news, but actually, no, the last remaining empty, obviously meant for a portal that never happened, space is actually still empty. Because actually, these new Season 4 teleports are inexplicably jammed randomly into a corner somewhere. And like, I'm sorry, because I know this is just a little thing, but get your shit together, Blizz. This is like spending an entire weekend putting together an IKEA TV cabinet. I recommend the Vi-Halls because it's timeless yet modern and elegant. And then putting your TV on the floor a few feet away from it. I'm sorry, Blizz, this is a game breaker. Put the portals in the portal space, please. It did make me think about Season 4 Mythic Plus though, and I have to say, I know everyone is kind of dreading Grimrail Depot because it's basically the meme choice and it's going to be kind of brutal, but I'm really looking forward to that dungeon in particular next season, just because I'm pretty sure I won't have to learn a route for it. Like, here is my official Grimrail Mythic Plus route guide. Go straight. Kill everything in front of you. It's a train. Seriously, what else are you gonna do? If that kind of brutal simplicity appeals to you, then I've got a feeling you might like the new Season 4 Mythic Plus Affix, Shrouded, which we've been able to test on the PTR for the first time this week. And it is, in my humble opinion, an absolute banger. I know that for Mythic Plus connoisseurs, the ideal affix is one that opens up new ways of traversing the dungeon and changes up the route and order that you do things a bit. Shrouded is not that. In Shrouded, some mobs are randomly dreadlords. Not even especially dangerous dreadlords either, they're basically just hanging out, who will reward a 2% haste, crit, or versatility stack, or 69 mastery. Very good. Upon killing them, players choose which stat they want to get their rewards in before the dungeon starts, and there's also a health and mana regeneration buff that comes with it too. On top of that, there's one mini-boss dreadlord per dungeon, who is a lot meaner but awards 3 stacks of your chosen reward and a much larger health and mana buff. You're probably going to end a dungeon with about 10 stacks, which is like a permanent 20% haste, crit, or versatility buff, or 69 plus 69 plus 69 plus 16. 690 extra mastery. Nice. So this is a very simple, straight up kind of a fix. You might stray off your planned route a little in order to grab a dreadlord here and there, and the restoration buff could feasibly open up the possibility of some bigger than usual pulls, but essentially it's just killing shit and getting more powerful, and I love killing shit and getting more powerful. That's like my whole thing. I do kind of wish that they had made the affix feature Sethrak in some way, just so they could have called it Snakes on a Train, but Shrouded is fine too. It's good, clean fun. We also got our first look at the item level of Season 4's Faded Raids on the PTR this week, and it's exactly as expected. Normal Faded Raids drop gear equivalent to the Mythic level of the last raid, Sepulchre of the first ones, going up to item level 304 for Mythic Faded Raids, and 311 for those late bosses in the raid that drop higher item level gear. That's exactly what we thought it was going to be. It's in line with how a new tier of gear usually scales. It's just good to see it confirmed in the dungeon journal. And this season isn't even going to result in item level bloats compared to BFA or Legion, since Shadowlands had one less raid tier to begin with, what with Blizz definitely planning for reals though, to only have 2 major patches this expansion, all part of the 2-patch plan that they definitely had. We're recording this episode a little earlier than usual, so Tali can go on his brother's stag weekend. That's bachelor party in UK speak, I know. So I'll just hold out for a sec to see if any new news drops at the last minute to round up.
Hello, Taliesin from the future here, and you'll never guess what? Yeah, there was some more news! Nothing major, but the Lost Codex boys did discover a really cool new Easter egg on the 9.25 PTR at Windrunner Spire. A cool little scene with some unique music referencing the Sylvanas novel. It's really cool. I recommend you check it out. And of course, just like everything we talk about in this video, there are links to the appropriate Wowhead articles in the description below. Okay, sorry, Evitel, thank you.
Oh, don't forget the recharge time on the Creation Catalyst is now just 4 days. Make hay, end tier pieces. No more news? Okay, it was fun. Thanks, bye.
Oh man, I missed her. When she does this show is the only time I really ever see her, so it's nice. Okay, internet, I would now like for you to grab a hot or stiff drink, put on your comfy pants, find somewhere soft to sit and relax, because I'm going to tell you something very intriguing indeed. It's about something on the 925 PTR, which might be nothing, but which definitely isn't nothing, and which prompts the question, Blizzard, what are you hiding? And there's no spoiler bot for this yet, but trust me, it is gonna make you go, huh. So, picture the scene. Patch 925 has been announced, with lots of details pertaining to the patch, cross-faction raiding and dungeons, with a fresh Mythic Plus lineup, and all 3 Shadowlands raids being brought up to the new tier, and made relevant again with new alterations and affixes. I mean, that's a scene that should be quite easy for you to picture, in fairness, because it is exactly what happened. And then, just after that patch hits the PTR, the new expansion is revealed, Dragonflight, featuring, among other things, a new race and class, the Drakthir Evoker. It's exciting times. Devs are saying what players want to hear, they've been really walking the walk anyway since 915, and generally, it's a pretty good time to be a WoW player, if you forget that the last 2 years have seen the slowest rollout of content in the game's history. That was pretty exciting, wasn't it? What was I even saying about content? I can't even remember, but let's carry on with the mystery. Now, I'd like you to picture that as the patch 9.25 PTR is updated week by week, with data miners gleefully going through everything they can, with the Dragonflight alpha sitting there ominously in the background somewhere, people start to notice something that seems just a bit off. One might even say something's not quite right. Sorry, I should have said, in my world, Nightborn elves speak in French accents because it's just way funnier that way, in my opinion. This thing isn't a huge thing, but it's enough to start making people wonder, and it involves splash screens. So, we all know what a splash screen is, right? When a new patch launches or a new season begins, the first time you log in with a character, you will be presented with a screen that tells you some of the cool new things to do in the update, whether that be a new raid or campaign quests or gameplay features or whatever. I love them because they're usually nicely designed with some cool unique graphics, so they make for really easy low effort thumbnails. You whack the new splash screen on there, you put it at a jaunty angle, pop my face next to it like, and that is some top tier A-grade 9-carat WoW content right there. And sure enough, if you log into the 925 PTR right now, there is indeed a new splash screen for Season 4 that pops up when you log in with a character for the first time. And yes, this is currently very green. But that's just because the cool graphics, the garnish, hasn't been added yet. The real meat and potatoes, though, is all present and correct. Shadowlands Season 4, insert graphic here. New Mythic Plus dungeons, insert train here. Fated raids! Don't put picture of Sanctum of Domination here, we want people to play the patch, But can you spot what's wrong though, internet? This is the splash screen for Season 4, with all the information about Season 4. What it is not is a splash screen for patch 9.2.5. We know that Season 4 starts after the launch of 925, and so before we ever see this screen, we're going to see one for the new patch itself, telling us about, I guess, cross-faction play, maybe the new arena that's coming, maybe the new heritage armor quest lines for Blood Elves and Dark Iron Dwarves, whatever. And that's the splash screen that we will see the day that the patch goes live. This screen won't come for at least a week or two after. So why is this later version showing on the PTR, and where is the initial new patch version? It's not really a big deal, hardly anything to get weirded out by, I know. Like, you're probably thinking either they haven't got around to putting that one together yet, or maybe they just aren't going to have a splash screen specifically for the 925 launch. And that is a reasonable thought, honestly, but it's wrong, because there is going to be a 925 launch version of this screen. In fact, there is a 925 launch version of this screen. It's in the data, just like this Season 4 screen. For some reason, though, that particular splash screen is encrypted. So we are currently in a situation where there will be 2 splash screens in patch 9.2.5, one for the launch and one for the start of season 4. Both splash screens are in the data, but the launch screen, the earlier one that needs to be finished first, is encrypted. And not only that, it doesn't show on the PTR at all, not even in a rough unfinished version like this season 4 screen. And here's the thing, the most likely explanation for this is that it means absolutely nothing significant. It is highly likely that some dev just forgot to tick a box in a menu somewhere to unencrypt the screen. There's nothing that we don't know about already on the screen, and it'll probably pop up in next week's PTR fully completed. That is so likely to be the case that no bookies would even give you odds on it. It is far and away the most likely explanation, but it is not the only explanation. Is it? It is not unreasonable to observe the fact that the 9.2.5 launch screen, and only the 9.2.5 launch screen, is encrypted, and think to yourself, what are you hiding? Où est la piscine? And at this stage, we have to be careful. When you let that hopium flame burn strong and true, then not only do the fumes make you high and sometimes delirious, but there is every chance that hopium fire is going to go out of control, because hopium is an incredibly potent fuel, and the next thing you know, the hopium fires have destroyed your excitement of everything that is coming in the new patch, because you were getting excited speculating about something that was never coming, and you're sad. And then before you can say clickbait, you've accidentally split the hopium atom, and we are all consumed in the raging hopium hellfire death explosion, and no one wants that. So be careful with this, is all I'm saying. But it's not unreasonable to speculate that Blizzard may indeed be trying to hide something here. And if so, what? What is important enough that it could be on the splash screen as a feature in patch 9.2.5 that they don't want us to see that's worth encrypting? Well, what about the mystery of the new stables that we talked about last episode? New assets have appeared in Orgrimmar and Stormwind, supposedly involving supplies coming in from Zuldazar and Kultiras, with workers building something which is not finished yet. Could that be what Blizz are trying to hide? It could be, except for the fact that everything I just described to you is on the PTR, like right now, which doesn't suggest that it's something Blizz are trying to hide. Actually, no. It's still a mystery, but it's one that is right there in front of us and not encrypted. Okay, so we know that there is a new story quest in the PTR data. Bluebot spoiler here, but yes, there's a new quest in the PTR data, the Eyes of the Wolf. We talked about that last episode too. Alliance players are sent to Tirisfal to secretly observe a meeting between the Forsaken and Karlia Menethil. There's a new Tirisfal map connected to the quest, and although it's currently Alliance only, there is every reason to assume that there will be a version for Horde players as well. Could that be what Blizz are trying to hide by encrypting the splash screen? It's actually very possible and wouldn't surprise me. But again, it's probably worth pointing out that if they encrypted the 9.2.5 splash screen in the data to keep Eyes of the Wolf secret, why didn't they encrypt the quest, Eyes of the Wolf, which is in the data and very much not encrypted? It is not unreasonable to think that if Blizz are hiding something, then it's not anything that we already know about, by definition. And to reiterate, it is almost as certain as you can get without being 100% that all of this is absolutely nothing. I want to make that clear again. But it's hard not to think about a certain Dragonflight leak that surfaced on Reddit on the 16th of April. So 3 full days before Dragonflight was revealed on the Blizzard livestream. The leak that predicts the name, Dragonflight, the new race, Drakthea, the new class, Evoker, the 5 zones of the Dragon Isles, Dragonflight Covenant, okay, and no player power back on track. It's fair to say that this leak, in terms of information, is legit. It's not a lucky guess. One way or another, this post is relaying correct information 3 days before the Dragonflight reveal. But I haven't shown you all of it, because they also mention new allied race pre-order bonus. Okay, just take a moment to check your hopium fire extinguishers on hand and serviced, okay? Because yes, it says new allied race pre-order bonus. Now, it would be very easy to get very excited about this, a leak that correctly predicts basically the new expansion before it's revealed, but also a new allied race available before the expansion, followed by an encrypted and unreadable splash screen, which is the splash screen that would likely feature info about a new allied race. Are Blizzard planning a secret new allied race drop to coincide with the new patch in what would be genuinely like the most baller and underhand cool thing they've ever managed to keep secret, like ever? No, I don't think they are actually, no. But I can't tell you that they definitely aren't. Okay, let's at least try and piss on this parade a bit. First, the leak. There's a whole bunch of ifs about this particular post. It is definitely repeating correct info, but there was another leak, like literally an hour before this one was published, which also revealed the Dragonflight name and Drakthir and Evoker, and that, granted, is a very tight time frame, and it could even be the same leaker, but it is also very likely that this leak is copying the very compelling first leak from an hour before, and adding a bit more flourish to it. Let's really steelman this though, and assume that the post is a genuine bona fide leak from someone who knows a dev, or is a dev, or otherwise connected to the game. We know that Drakthir are going to be playable for people who have pre-ordered Dragonflight before the expansion launches, just like Demon Hunters were for Legion and the first batch of allied races were for BFA. This line could just be a very clunky way of saying that. Very, very clunky way of saying it that basically changes the entire meaning of the sentence, granted, but still, quite likely in my opinion. I write illegible shit that means the wrong thing all the time and then somehow have to make sense of it while I'm reading it from the teleprompt later. I know the pain, you know? If this were a genuine leak, it could be secondhand. So someone who knows a dev repeating what they were told, and they could have just misunderstood the bit about Drakthir Evokers being playable with pre-orders and incorrectly, genuinely thought they meant a new allied race. Again, very possible. Or it could be a legit leak. It could be right about the allied race, and that is what Blizz are hiding. I don't think it is, but it's not completely unreasonable to think that it might. And if it were true, well, what allied race would it be? Tuskar? No, definitely not. A Tuskar allied race would use the new models being made for Dragonflight, and therefore would almost certainly start in the Dragon Isles with all the new Tuskar there. I don't think that's feasible for a pre-order. But everyone seems to think Dark Rangers are a real possibility to become playable in some way soon, and I agree. I legitimately think they will be. But more and more, I think that will take the form of customization options, in the way Warrior of Night customizations just got added one day in BFA. So, I don't know what to think. I mean, I do. I think this entire thing is absolutely nothing, but also I kind of quite enjoy thinking that maybe it's not, but also it's definitely not anything exciting or important, but also it is quite interesting that they are definitely trying to keep something secret, or maybe not definitely, but it seems like they are. Oh my god, save me from myself, please. Oh yeah, that's a lot better actually, thank you, cheers. What do you think? What is going on with the secret splash screen? This entire YouTube page is now a full-on tinfoil hat conspiracy site. Give us your best theory in the comments below, and thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their actual real-life money to make all of our work happen. And patrons, yeah, you patron, thank you, because without you, there would be a whole lot less Taliesin and Evitel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Evitel. Evitel's back! Evitel? She's gone again.